Support for this podcast and the following message come from Synchrony. Every business starts with an ambition. So does every purchase. They can lead to new ideas, new experiences, and even newfound success. Whatever people are trying to achieve, Synchrony provides the payment tools and technologies, promotional financing, and retail insights to help make it possible. Because sometimes it takes a little help to put ambitions in reach. That's not just something Synchrony believes in, it's what they do. Find out more at synchrony.com. Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 165 of Total Retail Talks. In today's episode, we sit down with Sarah Sheldon, the director of e-commerce at Rebecca Minkoff, a women's apparel and accessories brand. Listen in as we discuss the see now, buy now model and new in-store technologies that Rebecca Minkoff is utilizing to help create an omni-channel experience. All recorded live at this year's Total Retail Roundtable in New York City. And now, on to the show. I'm here with Sarah Sheldon, the Director of E-commerce for Rebecca Minkoff. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So can you tell us a little bit, for a brand that needs no introduction, a little bit about Rebecca Minkoff and your role there and how you ended up there?
Sure. So Rebecca Minkoff has been around for about 10 years. Rebecca and her brother Uri built the company from the ground up from Rebecca's apartment. They started with handbags. I think she even originally made an I Heart New York t-shirt that was seen on late night TV and promised that she could make more and make handbags. And today, handbags is 80% of our business. But we do sell clothing, shoes, luggage. We just launched swimwear and are adding new categories every year. So I specifically am Director of E-commerce, managing the website, all of store technology, and any digital touch points, specifically driving conversion.
So talking earlier, we know that thinking customer first is a main priority, of course, for Rebecca Minkoff, but also thinking technology first. Can you talk a little bit about what that means for the brand and what state it's in right now?
Sure. So for us, obviously, customer first means that the technology has to serve a purpose, not having technology just for the sake of technology. So, for example, in our stores, Uri had the idea way back when that the store should almost be treated like a website. So online you have customers who like to browse, take their time, maybe ask questions, call customer service. You also have the customer who uses your site search because they know exactly what they want. They do quick view, add to bag, and out the door. So how do you translate that kind of experience into a store environment? Because the store is known for hovering associates, following up, asking questions. And if you are one of those people who likes to browse anonymously, but you want to touch the product, you want to try it on, how can we facilitate that? So a lot of the store technology is born from this idea of creating the store like a website. We introduced the connected wall in 2014, so people can browse lookbooks, decide what they want to add to their fitting room. They can order a champagne, and then they get a text when their fitting room is ready. Once they go into the fitting room, we have RFID readers that read all of the items on. They can select different colors, different sizes, and have it brought into the fitting room without ever opening the door. Because the worst part about shopping sometimes is opening that door when you're half naked and not knowing if you're staring at an associate or another shopper.
No, absolutely. And just talking about technology in general, what are some of the technologies that you see being a key part of retail in 2018 and moving forward, and vice versa? Which ones do you think might fade out soon?
I mean, things that we have our eye on, definitely, what's going to be the value of Facebook for the next generation. I think AI is definitely kind of the buzzword right now, and while there's a lot of fantastic things happening with AI, the true commercialization of AI is going to be very, very tough right now. It's definitely not where everybody thinks that it should be, because the whole concept of training a machine to learn something has to be towards one end goal, and to try and fit that to so many different companies is going to be really a substandard product. I think it's great for certain things like personalization. I know House is a fantastic company that I saw them speak. They have their own company or their own developers in-house who do a lot of their image recognition. They started out as a content-based company, so they had a lot of this content, and then they figured out how to make it shoppable and recognizable. So if you say, oh, I love that lamp, or I love that piece, and they're able to serve up a lot of shoppable content now to their customers, which is fantastic.
Sure. And then, so Rebecca Minkoff does such a great job of kind of merging the online and offline. One of the new things to kind of come about over the last couple of years was the See Now, Buy Now setup that's happening. Can you talk a little bit about that and why Rebecca Minkoff kind of went in that direction?
Sure. I mean, for our brand specifically, we are an aspirational luxury brand. We're not like Chanel or Reed Krakoff or other companies that I've been at that have this true atelier, takes time to form, people want it now, especially in the industry. So for us, it's another part of the service to the customer to be able to show them in real time. It's really great for us because it allows us to build that content in the moment, but it also makes us have to think about all of the technology that we have to build in order to service her in real time. So specifically, one show a couple of years ago, we did a live stream. Then we tried to take it up a notch, and we did it with 360-degree views. So if you looked at it on your mobile phone, you could almost do your own personalized VR experience. And so every year, just thinking about how do you make it accessible for people who can't be there, because one of the brand DNAs for Rebecca Minkoff is her authenticity and her approachability. And so we always try to bring those elements, and that's part of the See Now, Buy Now for us.
Of course. And what are some of the overall effects that you've seen on the brand just from this See Now, Buy Now?
Yeah, I think for us, the customer has responded really, really well. Which is why we're able to actually take our collections and build them in real time with giving her looks to style, giving her ideas, but we always try to pull up a little bit of new collection to keep it really fresh, because sometimes fall might have come out in August and the runway show is in September.
Of course, and can you give us a little bit of a hint of maybe future technologies that Rebecca Minkoff is looking at or possible plans?
So we're always talking to people. Uri comes back from his conferences and his panels with stacks of cards that he's passing out for us to talk and meet with people. My challenge now is making sure that the store and the site doesn't become this sort of arcade and hodgepodge. So we definitely have certain things up the pipeline I can't tell you about just quite yet, but I can tell you we just relaunched our smart mirrors in New York and in LA with Oak Labs. So now our mirrors are NFC enabled, and what I'm really trying to do is use the existing technology and the partners that we have on the site and in store and make them work together and build off of it instead of adding a lot of new technology.
Of course, and what initiatives is Rebecca Minkoff we talked about the future, what are they focusing on right now? What are some of the core main sites that you have your sights set on?
So the global site is fully run by our team in New York. So I think for us, it's really important to think about who that international customer is. But at the same time, we only have 4 domestic stores. Back to Rebecca being really authentic and approachable, I don't think we'll ever be one of those companies that tries to really go big. So how do you keep that experience, that authenticity, between the international business while maintaining that loyal fan base that she's built up over the last 10 years.
Of course, and then we like to kind of ask also our sister brand, the Women in Retail Leadership Circle, we like to ask about different types of management styles and leadership tips. What are some of the management styles and leadership advice that you have when managing a team?
So I don't know how many people here know Cindy Gallup, but she is a really great leader in the advertising and marketing space. She's most known for her Make Love Not Porn TED Talk, and she also does a lot of talks and conferences for women and getting more women into the C-suite. And one of her tips, which I've never forgotten, is that no matter what role or function that you're in, when you work at a brand or at a business, your function is to make them money or to save them money. And so this is something that I really try to teach people that I work with, because a junior person, a site merchandiser, they might think, oh, my job is just putting up products on the site. Or a social person, my job is just to post the best social content, but do you know why you're doing what you're doing, and kind of shifting that purpose. It's a little bit easier for us on e-commerce because our number one KPI is always going to be conversion. But really kind of leading with more of an objective than a task and letting them fill in the gaps. You'll be really surprised at how people get to that objective instead of just telling them what has to be done, but sort of the why and what you're trying to achieve. Also, my boss has been really great about extending her network and introduced me to the Remodeista network, and so that's really great. When we come to events like this, you might not always have someone who's exactly in your wheelhouse, and so there you can talk to a lot of different people who specifically do what you're working on.
Of course. If there's one piece of advice you could kind of give our audience tonight, what would it be for retail in 2018?
Oh my goodness. One piece of advice for 2018. I'd say simplify, merge. There's so much noise, there's so much technology. Do it right, do it well, and the customer will figure it out.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, be sure to visit our podcast channel page at www.mytotalretail.com/podcast for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher, but be sure to subscribe to our podcast channel page as well. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.
This podcast was brought to you by Synchrony. Ambitions live everywhere, but sometimes they take help to achieve. That's why Synchrony provides the payment tools and technologies, promotional financing, and retail insights that can help put them in reach. Find out more at synchrony.com.